Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Sacred G. Today, I'm gonna talk about the newest Scream movie, and before I do, I'm gonna spoil this film, before I even get started with talking about it. There's gonna be spoilers, and so anywho, let's get started. Oh yeah, let's get started. So anyways, I'm not going to break this up as I did with the last video, because I kind of want to do this in a way, my headphones are cutting out, my bad, but I want to kind of just talk about the film, because I did not like this one. I am not really a big Scream fan to begin with, and it's not that I hate the movies. I do like the first one, but the rest can suck my dick. The only sequels I've seen, I just watched Scream 4 earlier today, which I will review that as well. Or just talk about it, I guess, I don't know. But I'll review that one when the time comes. But yeah, I saw this one. The only sequels I've seen past one at the time before 4 was 1 and 2. Saw 3. Forgot all about it. I don't remember a single thing about Scream 3. And to be completely honest, I'm not like a big, huge fan of the first film. I'm not letting the original kind of cloud my vision. And this movie, I don't know if it was a comedy or horror, or I don't even know what the fuck this was. So to start off things, the movie kind of opens up, with Jenna Ortega texting back and forth a friend. And this is the beginning scene, and it's kind of similar. I've heard people complain that it was the same to Wes Craven's first movie, but I don't think it was at all. I think it was pretty much just a modern recap of that, except for with a different actress. And she didn't die the same way either. And then obviously, when she's texting her friend, it ends up not being her friend, and she was texting Ghostface the entire time, and all this stuff. And then in this scene, it shows the brutality of this Ghostface, which is something I actually liked. I liked the fact that Ghostface was a little more brutal, as he should have been in all the other films, but for whatever reason he wasn't. Not even in Scream 4, but in this one he was pretty brutal. He broke Jenna Ortega's leg. Her character name was Sarah, or not Sarah, Tara, and yeah, and then she has to go to the hospital. She survived the stabbings, and she goes to the hospital, which we're introduced to the main lead, who I have to say was the biggest letdown for any lead in a fucking film. Sam was not interesting at all. The actress, sorry, I don't mean to be rude or blunt here, or if it comes off as if I'm being rude, but I thought she was terrible. I thought she literally didn't carry the film. I honestly forgot that when she was off screen a few times, or for when different characters were on, I forgot about her. And when she came back, I was like, or when it was her time to be on screen, I was like, oh yeah, this person's a character, and who this person has a connection with Billy Loomis, because apparently this is Billy Loomis's daughter. And it's like, why? Okay, I just don't understand that at all, but okay. Whatever. I guess he had a fling, which is fine, I guess. That is fine. But I just think them revealing that way too early into the fucking movie is a little too much, and just makes me just roll my eyes. And so we're introduced to her and her boyfriend, and Tara's her little sister. She didn't speak to her in, I think years is what they said. I don't fucking remember, and I don't really care, but it was some long period of time they didn't talk to each other, which is just so funny to me. And then she decides to go, talk to her sister, because she was attacked and hurt and all that stuff. And her and her boyfriend go, who is played by Jack Quaid, I believe. I don't fucking remember his name. He wasn't that great in this movie either, in my opinion. But anywho, they go to the hospital, they talk to her, and it's like, and they talk, and they're meeting her friends, and her friends show up, of course, as any good friends do. Especially when you're severely in pain. And I just don't remember much of that scene. I just think it was just filled with like pointless dialogue that could have helped me fall the fuck asleep. For nights when I'm stressed the fuck out and need something to fall asleep to, I could probably put that scene on. Do the same thing. Dialogue was forgettable. I don't even fucking remember what they talked about in that scene. I think they're introducing each other or whatever. And we're introduced to like her friend, like Tara's friend group, the teenagers that get slaughtered in this film were the most stupidest and forgettable fucking characters. And I'm not saying stupid as their choices were stupid. We can safely, get that out of criticism. I'm just saying a movie's dumb or horror slasher film's stupid because of decisions characters make, even though they're in a very fucked up situation. Anywho, they were not likable. I didn't really care for the fucking characters at all. And yes, Dylan Mignette is apparently a teenager in this film, and there were several shots in this film that showed Dylan's age. He is not 20 years old. If you're 20, you could still pass as a fucking high schooler, okay? But he wasn't. He's like fucking 26. And there were several scenes where it showed his face close up, and I that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, dude, you're aging, you're getting older, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not insulting the guy. I'm just saying you could tell the guy's older. He's not the young guy that we know him from 13 Reasons Why. Apparently they thought it was a smart idea to fucking cast this dude who was clearly not even remotely teenager look. Like, from a distance, yeah, he looks fairly young, but not from a close angle, and it kind of took it out. It was just so immersion breaking. It was just like, I know you're not a high schooler. And they were forgettable, man. And Kyle Gallner, too, makes an appearance in this film, which I have a lot of respect for Kyle, because I think he's a very underrated actor, and for some reason he, like, shows up as this weird sort of guy. You don't really get to know much about him, and they portray him as, like, this creepy dude, which I think they're trying to get you to think, oh, he could be the killer, because he had some things to do with, like, the friend group that's the main focus of the movie. He had, like, something to do with them. I think he hooked up with one of them or some shit, and he gets fucking killed. In the most stupidest, not dumb, he didn't. Yeah, in the most fucking dumbest way. His car gets turned on. I think he might have been drinking or some shit, but he goes and turns it off and sees this masked person fucking behind him, doesn't fight back. Fucking Ghostface just stabs him. I guess I'll safely chalk that up to maybe he wasn't fast enough. I don't know, man. I just think it was stupid. I think there was really no point to that character, since he was just a write-off anyways. I mean, it's like a waste of fucking talent, in my opinion. And I think this character looked interesting, to be honest, but they didn't decide to include him in for some fucking reason. They're like, oh, well, we'll just kill Kyle off. We'll just kill this guy off. I don't even fucking think there was a name for him. I don't know. There probably was, but there's no point to even know it because he just dies off. It's just one of the dumbest things. And apparently there was a scene that really kind of made me think, why didn't they just write these fucking kids in college? Because of the fact there was a scene where before Kyle Gallner died, where his character died, the teens were in some bar playing pool, and it's like, I understand, like, I know bars can let minors in, and especially if there's like an eating area, but this bar didn't look like a normal bar minors or 18-year-olds can't go into, which is, I believe, the age that's being portrayed here. And apparently they're allowed in willy-nilly to play fucking pool. I guess age is just a number in that fictional town. I think it was Woodsboro or whatever. Yeah, Woodsboro. I think I could be mistaken, man. Like, I don't know. I don't really care either. And so after that, and I'm just going to talk about the idiotic scenes. So, of course, we know that we get the return of, Dewey. We get the return of Nev Campbell's character, Sidney Prescott, which, by the way, they were the worst part of the movie, in my opinion, because their performances were so bad. that it literally felt to me that they didn't want to be there, at least compared to Scream 4. And even the first few movies, because I just think they're getting tired of these fucking films. And to be completely honest, it wasn't even that long ago since Scream 4 came out. You know, people think that you're revamping the series. It's not really that much of a fucking many years since Scream 4 even came out. Anywho, they're in the film, and their performances were bad, except for David Arquette. You know, I have respect for David Arquette trying to portray Dewey like he normally does when a movie like this comes out, or when he's starring in a movie like this. But he, oh my god, man, I am not a fan of any of the characters, to be completely honest. I am just more on the fence of how somebody that has been in these movies, well, this situation with the ghost face for fucking years, or for 4 fucking movies up to this one, and he gets killed. Dewey dies in one of the most emptiest hospitals there ever fucking was. I mean, during that whole segment when Jenna Ortega's trying to flee the hospital with her, with her cut hand, and she undid everything because she wants to leave because something's up. The hospital's completely fucking empty, and the whole town knows that the ghost face is on the large because it's, you know, I don't think that big of a town. And so everybody there knows whenever, like, certain murders happen, it's the ghost face, so it's cool they have, like, a lockdown situation. But that's not how hospitals should be. Regardless, even if there was, you can lock down in a fucking hospital if that's the case. I have no idea. There wasn't, actually. There are people still walking around. But this, I'm trying to theorize this because this hospital was so fucking empty, and I remember when she was trying to leave in the wheelchair, I was like, what? Where is everybody? Well, there's a front desk. No one's fucking sitting there. Oh, well, this is after the light shut off, so Ghostface could have killed her. Or could have killed them. There was no other bodies. There was no other indication that this hospital was filled with people. It was just mainly in Jenna Ortega's hospital room. So that was kind of a big letdown. And what on top of that is supposedly Dewey, who's been in this situation multiple times, gets distracted by his phone while standing in front of the killer. Really? The guy who's been stabbed so many times, he had to fucking retire because it was too dangerous, gets his ass killed because his phone went off. And he was standing literally in front of the fucking killer. And he was going to shoot him in the head, to be sure. It's like, and as soon as he said that, I was like, you are fucking kidding me, he's dead. It was very predictable. I had no idea Dewey died. You know, not like I gave a shit, because I honestly don't care. I don't. But I will tell you one thing, out of this whole movie, that was the most retarded death, or stupid death, pardon my French, but that death was just so, like, it was supposed to be, like, a gut-wrenching moment for fans, like, oh, you just lost one of your legacy characters, but they did so in such a way, I couldn't even feel bad for his death. I was like, yeah, he's dying, he's bleeding, it's pretty gross, you know, he's bleeding out, he's gutting him up like a fucking fish. But he just dies in the most stupid-ass way. Like, honestly, like, that wasn't even heartfelt at all. That was just, to me, I think that was just a disservice to the fucking actor and to the character. I have no idea why. And before all this, Dewey was living in some, like before he died, when Sam and her boyfriend try to seek his help because they want to stop Ghostface. Sam's having these weird-ass visions of Billy Loomis from the first film, telling her to do these certain things, and it's kind of like a spirit guide-esque sort of pert thing going on, which was so dumb, in my opinion. They should have saved that for the ending after she she brutally killed her fucking boyfriend. Like, she should have said, or they should have had, like, that at the end, in my opinion. But anywho, they're at his place, and he's living in some fucking trailer, and because he had to retire. He's divorced from Gail, at least from what I learned, because I watched Scream 4 after watching Scream 5. Which, you know, it doesn't matter. Because in that one, they were married. And this one, they're not. They got a divorce. Don't know why. It was never explained. I don't really care if it is or isn't. Like, they're divorced. Anywho, he lives in some rut, and he literally says that he was retired, or they told him to step down. And I think he just called it retirement because he didn't want to have it seem like that they told him to step down. And then you add that to the scene where he gets fucking killed, right? You add that part, but then just randomly, he just is so retarded in this fucking movie that he looks at his phone standing in front of the killer that he didn't know was dead, because he went back to shoot him in the head just to be sure, so he didn't fucking know they were alive. Oh, my phone's a little more important. And then gets killed. I guess in situations like that, ladies and gents, always check your phones. Just if you're in that scary part of the house, or you're in that sketchy looking part of the forest, always check your phone if it goes off. Never continue to get out of that area. Just always check your phone. God, I wonder, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if fans were really pissed. Honestly, I'm pretty sure there are. I'm pretty sure there are mega fans of this franchise that are super pissed that a guy who lasted all 4 of these fucking films and got hurt didn't think. They just wrote him as some dumbass teen. That's like, oh, yeah, I'll check my phone before I, in front of the guy that's been killing people. And the rest, Neve Campbell she's not a bad actress, and neither is Courtney Cox. None of the 3 that were in the film are. This movie, they were terrible. I have no idea why. And then I watched Scream 4, and their performances were better than that, in my opinion. And I understand they're getting older and stuff, but still, it doesn't mean that you can't act, And it just feels like this is not even coming from a place of nostalgia. It's just coming from a place I just recently experienced a movie that I didn't enjoy. Honestly, it wasn't clever like the first one. I mean, they tried to set it up as it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't clever. It was quite predictable, honestly. And as soon as, Ghostface didn't kill or didn't hurt the boyfriend or kill him, I knew he was the killer, and that's what I'm going to talk about next. And also the plot was stupid, too. Before I do talk about that, let's talk about the themes they brought up. Like they said, for some reason, Babadook's or elevated horror. I have to watch that again. I haven't seen that movie in years. But I'll have to see that again, but I doubt that it is. I think horror is just horror. Everything horror-wise is subjective. The same thing with comedy. Some people will find that movie scary, and it's not elevated. From what I remember, I think people compared it to Halloween, so I'm pretty sure they took the silent scares. Because I remember the silent scares, and I think the Babadook's an interesting character, but they said that was, elevated, which, okay, but, and they brought up the, toxic fandoms. This is the thing I want, to talk about someday in a video. The toxic fandoms when it comes to remakes. And that's actually a massive contradiction to what Scream 4 did, because Scream 4 joked about, how fans are to never fuck with the originals, which I honestly think it was just Wes Craven just saying, hey, fuck that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Which I have popular opinions about that movie, because that's what it just felt like when that happened. And this movie, they're talking about fans who freak out when remakes tamper with some of the things from the original, which is a really, really neat thing they touched upon, but failed to fucking explore for some reason. I don't know why. They just kind of we'll bring it up, but we won't even mention any more of it. We won't actually come to a conclusion. It's just, oh yeah, fans freak out. They do. I mean, they really do. And it's just, to me, when it comes to that side tangent here, remake. They're not making the movie again. They're remaking it. It's sticking to not the original plot, but just most remakes do. But that's not bad either. A remake can stick to the original plot and change a few elements. That's what I think a remake could do. Side tangent done. And so now for the reveal, though, besides the things that the themes they wanted to cover, fans getting upset that they tweaked with that, which to a degree I've seen people, like, after watching it, of course I looked up the reviews, but I've seen people say that this film was kind of calling back or calling out fans or toxic fans that don't like movies like this, and it's like, that's what it felt like. I don't think that's the intent. I think they're just making fun of fans that flip out over remakes, which is actually quite fine. But if that was the intent, that's fucking stupid, man. And also, I want to talk about the humor, too. I felt like they contradicted themselves pretty fucking heavily. Like, they would say, oh, horror movies do this and that, and it's to the point where I was like, I get it, ha ha ha, it's funny, but you end up doing the same fucking thing that you made fun of. So are you using humor for critics to be like, oh, you see, they made fun of that, but they're, oh, ha ha ha, it's self-aware. No, I think it's using humor to kind of cover that they do the same thing. That's my opinion. I mean, I just don't understand how you can use humor like that, but then contradict yourself pretty fucking heavily in a movie. Like, it's annoying to me. It's like, I get it, horror's just not an always good opportunity for Oscar-worthy performances and Oscar-worthy storytelling and shit like that. Sometimes, yeah, horror's very, 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 very unpredictable. But this film was not unpredictable. It was very predictable for me. And so anyways, fucking the killers, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, the killers in this movie. I understand that one of the killers, I'm not going to bother saying his name for the sake of butchering it. So, Quaid, Dennis Quaid's son, I know that. He wasn't good in this. I don't think he was. I don't think his performance even was saving the movie, nor was it helping me not believe he was the killer. And the same thing for the girl that played fucking Amber, who ended up being like the female killer for the movie. And she was short. And when they would show Ghostface, she would be like fucking 6 foot or taller than Sydney, but when at the end of the film she wasn't even that tall. And it's like, is this a comedy? Is this satire? Is this like horror? What the fuck is this? I think they went a little too far with the humor in this, because I think Wes Craven for the first film did a decent job balancing it out, because I'm trying to recall, because I was thinking about this earlier today. Because I was thinking, did he overdo it too? Because I think to a degree he did, especially with the fucking sequels. Like, goddamn, how many times can you point out something in a horror movie? Like, who cares? Yeah, horror movies do this. That's what they kind of do. And it's all thanks to people like directors like fucking Wes Craven and John Carpenter to a degree. Not just them. Anyways, so the killers, yeah, they're bad, man. They're so fucking cringy. I hated it whenever Amber was talking when it was revealed, and they had Sydney and Gail held hostage, and fucking she was going crazy. It didn't feel like she was going crazy. It felt like she was going extremely fucking cringy. It wasn't even scary, like it wasn't even like believable enough for me to sit there and say, you know what, you really are convincing me that you're terrifyingly crazy. No, they were both cringy, and when it was revealed, I was like, come fucking on. I literally even said that in my head. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? These two clowns are the killer? What? And even their motive was stupid. It was because of, like, it was just fan fiction. It was fan fiction. What? That's what I would, like, this is supposed to be a blend of that, and you're supposed to make, I don't know what you're supposed to do with comedies like, or fucking horror movies like this. And yes, I want to go back to, like, the friends and shit that, Tara had. Then we'll talk about the main lead. They were just forgettable. Like, there's two of them were actually, like, related to Jamie Kennedy's character from the first film. And it's like, they weren't even funny. Actually, the chick was annoying. Like, I don't care that her character was lesbian. I found that quite a decent twist, because it wasn't really shown until the party scene, or not twist, but a decent, thing to know about her character. But that was it. Like, she was annoying. Like, yeah, she was doing the same shit that Jamie Kennedy did, except for I think she got fucking stabbed. Also, when Amber and her went to the basement for, I think, a beer, she was like, oh yeah, come with me to the basement. And then they went down to the basement, and there was just this really creepy exchange between the fucking chick, or the friend, or Amber, and the relative of fucking Jamie Kennedy's character, or niece, nephew, whatever the fuck, or niece. And it's like, how can you not tell by the way your fucking friend's behaving that she's not the killer? Like, I think that scene was supposed to be funny, but it just gave it away that she was the fucking killer, and I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, seriously? This chick is the fucking killer? I thought it would be somebody else. Because I will say, like, I just don't understand the choices this movie fucking made, man. And if you like this film, that is of course fine. I don't care if anybody liked this movie. You're free to like this shit. I just didn't. I just want to get this movie out of my head, because it just genuinely made me disappointed with it. And I didn't even have high hopes. I just watched it as I do with any other fucking horror movie. I just turned not my brain off. I'm like, okay, I know nothing about this. Besides, it's a Scream movie, and I haven't seen a sequel besides this one at all. I've only seen, before watching Scream 4, I've only seen up to 2, and I've really forgot about Scream 3. Like, I do not have a memory of watching Scream 3. I know I did, too, because I torrented it. And I guess it wasn't worth the fucking the VP, or the virtual private network, the VPN fucking usage. So, because I forgot about it, and this movie is forgettable. Jenna Ortega's character wasn't that interesting either. Sam was pretty insufferable, because she was like the fucking main lead. They had it already shown to you that she was Billy Loomis's daughter. And before the end, they should have done that at the end, because at least that would have warranted a Scream 6, because I do not see the reason for another Scream movie after this. That's my take on this film. I did not like it. It's not bad by any means. I think it's a brutal Scream movie for sure. He's a lot more brutal and a lot more violent, which is nice for a change. But also, there weren't any cool kills, if you want to know. The only cool kill, I guess, was Dewey's death, when the only fucking gutting part was when Dewey died, because Ghostface cuts Dewey from his upper and kind of does try to do a down the middle thing. That was it. It was just basic stabs, as we've seen in every other fucking slasher film. Hell, even fucking Jason Voorhees' kills with his machete are more fucking different than what this movie pulled off. I'm sorry to say, but this movie was just... And then I saw that it had like a 79% after watching it too. I remember I went straight for the reviews afterwards to see what people were thinking. 79% for this mediocre film. It is not revolutionary. It's not really bringing anything new to the table. It's just a generic slasher Scream film. And it has jokes in it. And this time, in my opinion, I just think the jokes are too much in this one, because it just felt like they contradicted themselves, and they would make a joke about, horror movies do this and that, but they would literally do the thing they made fun of. And I just think it's an excuse at this point for idiocy here, because it's contradictory. It's like, why would you make fun of that, but literally have a character go do that fucking thing you made fun of? That's the problem. Is I think they're gonna say, well, they're joking around. It's a comedy. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be a horror movie. It could have comedic moments, and they could joke about horror movies all they want. I don't give a fuck. But if you're gonna joke about them and then do the things the horror movie did, it's like insanely bad. It's like, oh my god, man. You know, also another dumb death. I know people are probably gonna be like, oh well, you know, this and that. I'll get into that when I get to that part. Was one of the relatives, or it was Jamie Kennedy's character from the first film. I think his name was Randy, actually. It was Randy's nephew. His girlfriend, they were about to fuck and shit, and his girlfriend was getting horny, right? She was like, oh, take me upstairs and do a triple X on me. And he didn't want to. He was like, no, you know, it was kind of funny. Like, that made me laugh. I'm not saying the jokes are terrible, but it just... When I complained about the jokes, I was meaning that they did it too much, to the point where I just think it was just an excuse. Anywho, she tries to take him upstairs, and as I said, try to do the triple X, you know, double plow on him, and he didn't want to do it. He was like, I think we should stay down here where all the people are. I thought that was pretty funny. But then he gets fucking killed off, too, which is so funny. He goes into the bushes... where apparently, because she disappeared, she left her phone got stolen or some shit, and there's a tracker on his phone, and he tracks it to the fucking bushes, and instead of running inside being like, okay, yeah, this is a little weird, instead of running inside, like, they tried to make him seem smart, but he died in a dumb way, too. He just went into the fucking bushes, like most horror movies, so... Don't know what's so revolutionary about this film, or about any of these fucking Scream movies, to be honest. That's just my opinion on this one. I'll see you guys in the next video, and if you guys like this video, and I apologize for not breaking this up, but when I rant about a horror movie, and yes, this was a rant, I'm going to not split it up. I'm just going to try to remember the scenes and talk about the film, because I don't want to paint this movie as it's objectively bad, because it's not. It's subjectively bad. I personally... For me, it was not a fun movie at all. It was entertaining for what it was, for a horror flick. But is it a good movie, and is it elevating, or is it bringing anything new to the table that we haven't seen before? Hell no. It's mediocre as fuck, and I don't know. It's not revolutionary, and so even to me, I don't think it deserves a sequel. I don't see what this movie really did that warranted a Scream 6. I don't understand that. But if you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments. That's all I ask. And if you like the movie, let me know. Try to change my mind. And also, if you didn't like the movie, let me know why you didn't like it. Maybe we can have a discussion. I'd love to. Anywho, I'll see you guys in the next. Peace the fuck out.